The desert moon of Cauron was always silent in the early morning. The wind moved slowly over the red sand, making long waves that looked like the ocean frozen in time. The sky was pale yellow, and the twin suns had not yet risen. It was a place where very few humans went, and even dragons avoided this deep part of the desert. But today, something small and fragile lay in that silence. A tiny albino hatchling sat half-buried in the warm sand. Its scales were pale like white glass, almost glowing against the red ground. Its wings were thin and weak, barely able to move. The little creature shivered, even though the sand was hot. It looked around with large, soft eyes filled with fear and confusion. It had just hatched, but it already knew one thing. It was alone. Around the hatchling, the sand held marks of other dragons, large claw prints, wing beats, and tail lines. They had been here. They had seen the newborn, and they had left. The elders' voices still echoed in the air. Do not touch it. Albino hatchlings bring darkness. It will not survive the day. So they walked away. Even the mother dragon looked at the white little baby with fear in her heart. She turned her back and followed the others. Her wings opened, and soon she disappeared into the sky. And the weak hatchling understood nothing. It called out a soft, broken cry, hoping anyone would return. But the desert answered with silence. Only the wind moved. Hours passed. The newborn tried to stand, but its legs trembled. It fell again and again. Sand stuck to its soft scales, and its breathing grew slower. It had never seen another living being. It had no idea why no one wanted it. It only felt the pain of the hot sun and the cold of being unwanted. Up on a rocky cliff, two young dragons watched quietly. Is it still alive? One whispered. Yes, the other answered. But not for long. They both hid when a shadow passed above them. They expected a dragon elder, but the shadow was the wrong shape. Longer, narrower, mechanical. The sound came next, a strange humming that did not belong to nature. A dust cloud rose far across the desert. The two young dragons' eyes widened. A human? Out here. No human should be this far inside Dragonlands. No human would dare. But the dust cloud grew bigger, closer, faster, and the little albino hatchling, nearly blind from heat, lifted its head weakly. It could not understand what it saw. A strange metal creature with wheels, lights, and armor plates. The machine rolled across the sand with steady force, shaking the ground as it came near. Inside the rover sat a single man. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He looked tired, like someone who had traveled a long distance without rest. He scanned the desert through the dusty glass window, searching for something. He almost passed the hatchling without noticing. Almost. But at the last moment, the sunlight hit the white scales, making them shine like a signal in the sand. The man's hand froze on the control wheel. His eyes widened slightly. What is that? He slowed the rover. The engine growled and then stopped completely. The door opened with a heavy click. The dragons watching from above held their breath. The human stepped out. He wore a sandproof suit, boots covered with dust, and a metal belt filled with tools and scanners. His helmet visor reflected the desert around him. He looked like a traveler, but also like someone trained for danger. He walked slowly toward the tiny creature lying in the sand. The hatchling saw him coming, but could not move. Its weak body trembled. It did not know what a human was. It did not know if he was a threat. Still, something inside it whispered, "Stay awake." The man stopped only one step away from the hatchling. He stared at it for a long moment. The wind blew past them, but neither moved. The dragons watching from the cliffs whispered in fear. Why is he here? Why is he going close to the cursed one? He should not touch it, no one should. But the humans slowly knelt down. The hatchling closed its eyes, expecting pain. Instead, it felt a warm hand lift the sand away from its face. The man spoke softly, his voice calm but surprised. "You're just a baby, and they left you here?" The hatchling opened its eyes. For the first time since it was born, it saw kindness. The man scanned it with a small device. Soft blue light glowed over the tiny creature. Data filled his screen. His face changed, first confusion, then shock. This is not a cursed dragon. This is a rare one. The dragons above froze. What does he mean? Rare? Impossible. The man gently lifted the weak hatchling into his arms. The baby did not fight. It was too tired, but strangely it felt safe. Then the ground shook. A deep rumble moved under the sand. Slow, heavy, hungry. The man looked around. The hatchling's body stiffened in fear. Something huge was waking beneath them. The dragons on the cliff gasped. Oh no, a sand crawler. And the human, holding the tiny albino baby, realized he was no longer alone in the desert. He was standing on top of a predator's nest, and it had smelled fresh life. First contact and rising danger. The ground kept shaking under the human's boots. The hatchling felt the vibrations too. Its small body pressed tightly against the man's chest, eyes wide with fear. The sand around them rippled in circles, like something big was pushing upward from below. The human looked down at the tiny creature in his arms. "Stay still, little one," he whispered. He took one careful step back, then another. But the rumbling grew stronger, deeper, louder. The sand sank slightly, then lifted again as if breathing. Up on the cliff, the young dragons began to panic. A sand crawler, this deep in the day. It smells the hatchling's weakness. It will come to the surface. The human, unaware of dragon whispers, held his ground. His hand quickly moved to his belt. He pulled out a metal rod, long, dark, and glowing faint blue at the tip. It looked simple, but the energy inside it hummed with quiet power. Another tremor shot upward. Tum, tum, tum. The hatchling whimpered softly. The human tightened his grip and spoke calmly, even though danger was seconds away. "I've got you. Don't be afraid." The sand burst open. A huge creature exploded out of the ground like a living mountain. Its body was long like a giant worm and covered in rough, stone-like plates. For glowing eyes opened on its head, hungry, hateful, and locked onto the weak newborn. The sand crawler roared. The sound shook the nearby cliffs and sent a shockwave rolling across the desert. The dragons, watching from above, crouched low. It wants the albino. It always goes for the smallest prey. This human will die. He cannot fight that. But the man did not run. He planted one foot back. His body lowered, steady. The glowing rod in his hand brightened. The crawler lunged forward. The human moved faster. He hit the rod against the sand, and a sharp pulse of blue energy spread out in a ring. The crawler stopped mid-lunge, confused by the burst of force. It pulled its head back slightly, unsure. The hatchling watched, amazed. It had never seen strength like this. Not for dragons. Not from anyone. The crawler shrieked and charged again, harder. The human raised the rod, and with a loud crack, fired another pulse straight into the monster's face. This time the crawler slid backward, its stone plates cracking slightly from a shock. Up on the cliffs, the young dragons gasped. He pushed it back, with only a stick. No human should have this kind of power. Who is he? But the crawler was not finished. It circled them, moving fast for its huge size. It dove back into the sand, disappearing instantly. The desert went silent again. Too silent. The hatchling trembled against the man's chest. The human scanned the ground, eyes sharp. He whispered, "It's going to strike from underneath." He didn't have to wait long. The sand erupted behind him. The crawler shot upward like a spear, mouth wide, jaws ready to crush both human and hatchling. The man spun and activated the rod again, but this time something strange happened. Before he could strike, the tiny albino hatchling glowed. Its body lit up with soft white light. Not bright, not strong, but enough to make the crawler hesitate mid-air, just for a heartbeat. That heartbeat saved them. The human thrust the rod forward. A stronger pulse blasted out, twice as powerful as before. The crawler flew backward, crashing into a dune and sinking halfway into the sand. It roared in pain and confusion. No prey had ever fought back like this. No prey had ever glowed like that. The human stared at the small hatchling in his arms. What did you just do?" But the hatchling did not understand. It only knew it felt a strange warmth when a man held it. A connection. Something safe. The crawler began to rise again, slower this time. Its eyes stayed fixed on the glowing newborn. The man realized something. "It's not after me," he said softly. "It's after you." Up on the cliffs, the dragons were shaking. "That light, that cannot be normal. No hatchling glows like that. Maybe the human is right. Maybe it is rare." The crawler let out a final roar and charged again. This time the human didn't attack. He took one quick step forward, stamped his foot firmly, and slammed the rod into the ground. A massive shock wave tore through the sand, throwing dust high into the air. The crawler lost its balance and slammed to the ground. It didn't rise again. Silence returned to the desert. The man stood with the baby dragon in his arms, breathing heavily. Sweat ran down his neck, but his eyes remained sharp. He scanned the horizon for more threats. The hatchling looked up at him, and for the first time since it was born, it felt hope. The human looked back. "I don't know who left you here," he whispered, "but I'm not leaving you." From the cliffs, the dragons realized something dangerous and unbelievable. This human had just protected a creature their entire clan had abandoned. And now, they needed to decide whether to stop him or watch destiny unfold. The secret signal in the shadow above. The desert became quiet again after the sand crawler fell. Too quiet, almost waiting. The human kept his grip on the small albino hatchling. The tiny creature rested its head against his chest, tired from fear and glowing only faintly now. The human knew the crawler could rise again, so he stayed alert. But the ground remained still. The danger wasn't below anymore. It was above. High on the rocky cliffs, more shadows appeared, bigger, darker, and older. The elders had arrived. Their wings opened wide against the sky, blocking the sun like giant living walls. They had seen everything. The human's courage, the hatchling's strange light, the crawler's defeat. And now the elders did not hide their anger. The largest elder dragon, scales dark red like burning iron, leaned forward and growled. That human touched the albino. He used strange power. He must not leave this place alive. The younger dragons stared down, afraid to speak. They had never seen a human defeat a sandcrawler. They had never seen a hatchling glow. Everything felt wrong, but strangely right at the same time. Below, the human finally moved toward his rover. He whispered to the hatchling, "Let's get you to safety. I need to check what you really are." But as he reached for the rover door, his wrist device beeped. A soft, unfamiliar sound. Beep, beep, beep. His face changed. The sound was not from the crawler, not from the desert, not from his own suit. It was coming from the hatchling. The tiny dragon's scales flickered again with light. Just a small pulse like a heartbeat. But the pulse sent a strange pattern into his scanner. A code, a signal. The man narrowed his eyes. "This is not normal," he whispered. He scanned the baby again. The device showed data he had never seen before. Ancient energy patterns, star-shaped symbols, and a wave frequency matching something recorded long ago in lost archives. This hatchling wasn't cursed. It wasn't weak. It wasn't dying. It was calling. Calling to something. Calling to someone. Before he could study it further, the wind shifted sharply. Sand lifted around them in a twisting swirl. The hatchling opened its eyes and looked upward. The human followed its gaze. High above, the elder dragons stepped forward to the cliff's edge. Their giant wings stretched like storm clouds. Their eyes glowed with warning. Their bodies moved with slow, heavy power. One elder roared, a deep, ancient sound that made the sand tremble. The human's heart pounded. He whispered, so they were watching. The hatchling whimpered. The dragon's roar rolled across the desert. "Leave the albino." But the human did not step back. He didn't bow his head. He didn't put the hatchling down. He simply stared up at the elders, calm but ready. The young dragons gasped. No human has ever stood firm before the elders. This one is different. The lead elder spread its wings wider, creating a windstorm strong enough to push sand into the air. It shouted again. "The hatchling is cursed. It must stay here. It must end here." The human tightened his grip on the shaking baby dragon. "It isn't cursed," he said loudly, his voice echoing across the desert. "It's scared, and you left it to die." This shocked even the elders. A human accusing dragons? The young dragons watched silently, unsure whom to believe. The elders growled, but the human continued. You don't even know what this hatchling is, do you? He held up the scanner. It carries ancient energy, something older than your clans, something you don't understand. For a moment, the elders hesitated. Ancient energy? Impossible. Yet the hatchling had glowed. They had seen it. The red elder stepped forward, furious. You speak of things beyond your kind, human. Give us the hatchling now, or you'll be burned to the sand. The human lifted his rod again. Its blue light grew stronger. You could try, he said quietly. The desert froze. Even the wind held its breath. No one had ever spoken to the dragons like this. No human, no creature, no one. The younger dragons looked at the hatchling, glowing weakly in a man's arms. The glow reflected in their eyes like a lost truth returning. But then something unexpected happened. The sky shook. Not from dragons. Not from sandcrawlers. Not from storms. A low, deep hum rolled across the horizon. A vibration so strong it made even the elders turn their heads. The human scanner lit up again. The hatchling's glow spiked, just for a second, then stopped. The signal had reached its destination. Something answered the call. The human stepped back toward his rover, voice tense. We need to go. Now. But before he could take another step, the red elder launched from the cliff, wings breaking the air like thunder. The chase had begun. The man ran for the rover, clutching the glowing baby. The elders soared downward. The ground shook again, and far on the horizon, something ancient and enormous began to awaken. All because one human picked up a hatchling everyone else abandoned. The human's hidden skill and the hatchling's awakening. The human sprinted toward his rover, the hatchling held tightly against his chest. Behind him, the red elder dragon dived from the cliffs with the force of a falling meteor. Its wings cut the air, sending a roar that shook the sand dunes. The hatchling cried softly, sensing danger. Its tiny claws gripped the human's suit, but the man only held it closer. I won't let them hurt you, he whispered. Even as shadows from the dragons grew larger behind him. The young dragons on the cliff watched in fear and confusion. Why are the elders chasing him? Is the albino really that dangerous? Or are they hiding something? No answer came, only wind and panic. The elder dragon reached the ground with a crash, sending waves of dust blasting outward. The human was thrown off balance for a moment, but didn't stop. He kept moving until he reached his rover and slid inside with the hatchling. The elder roared and rushed forward with open jaws. The human slammed a fist onto a button. The rover's shield system snapped awake. A transparent energy wall burst from the vehicle and expanded around it. The elder crashed into the barrier, sparks exploding from the impact. The shockwave rippled across the desert. Inside, the hatchling trembled. The human placed a steady hand on its head. You're safe for now. He activated the rover's engine. It roared to life, kicking sand into the air as it surged forward. But the danger was far from over. More elders took flight, wings spreading like storm clouds. They circled above, trying to block his escape. The human pushed the rover faster. Come on, come on. The hatchling watched everything with wide, frightened eyes. It had never seen such speed, such noise, such conflict. But deep in its tiny heart, something else awakened. A strange warmth, a pull, a spark, not fear, something older, something powerful. The elders' fear. Up above, the elders spoke through thunderous growls. If the human escapes with the albino, the prophecy begins. We cannot allow that. That hatchling must not bond with an outsider. The youngest elder, silver-scaled and thoughtful, whispered, but what if the outsider is part of the prophecy? What if we were wrong? The red elder snapped. Silence. The bond must never form. They dove again. The human's hidden skill. The rover's warning alarm screamed. Multiple hostiles detected. Air threat. Impact incoming. The man glanced at the hatchling. You might see something strange, he said. Don't be scared. He pressed a second switch onto the control panel. Panels on the rover opened, releasing 4 hovering drones. They rose into the air, glowing blue like the pulse rod he used earlier. The dragons flinched back in surprise. What are these human machines? They fly without wings. They shine like the hatchling. The drones formed a defensive circle around the rover. When a dragon swooped low to attack, the drones fired short bursts of energy, non-lethal but strong enough to force them back. The human tightened his grip on the controls. "I don't want to fight you," he said under his breath, "but I won't let you take this baby." The red elder roared and pushed through the drones, burning one with its fire breath. The drone exploded in a flash of blue sparks. The hatchling cried out, not because of fear, but because something inside it responded to the blue energy. The glow returned to its body, stronger this time. The human noticed. "You're reacting to the energy, aren't you?" The hatchling's tiny heart beat faster. The glow spread through its wings, its tail, its eyes. Outside, the elders also noticed. "The light again. It is waking." The hatchling awakens. Suddenly, the rover shook violently. Something massive was rising behind them. The sand crawler. Not dead, just angry. It burst out of the ground once again, even bigger than before, stone plates cracked and glowing red with fury. The elders froze. Oh no, the crawler is following the hatchling again. It senses its power waking. The crawler charged toward the rover, faster and more desperate than before. The human's eyes widened. "If that hits us, we won't survive." He grabbed the pulse rod again, ready to fight, but before he could move, something unbelievable happened. The hatchling stood up in his lap. Its eyes glowed bright white. Its tiny wings lit up like small suns. The human stared, stunned. "What are you?" The hatchling opened its mouth, not to cry, not to scream, but to release a tiny, soft hum, a pure, clear sound wave. The crawler froze instantly, mid-charge, like the hum traveled through its body and shut down its rage. The elders gasped. "That is impossible. Only ancient dragons could do that. No hatchling should have this power." The crawler shook violently and backed away, trembling like it had seen death. The hatchling's glow continued for a few seconds, then faded. Its tiny body collapsed into the human's arms, exhausted. The crawler fled back into the sand. The desert went silent. A dangerous truth. The human gently lifted the baby. "You saved us," he whispered. "But how?" The elders landed in the sand, surrounding the rover. Their voices shook, not with anger, but with fear. "The albino has awakened early. It used the song of the ancients. The human must not be allowed to keep it." The man stepped out of the rover slowly, holding the hatchling tight. "Tell me the truth," he said. "Why are you all so afraid of this baby?" The red elder answered with a growl. "Because this hatchling is born with power that can choose kings or destroy them." The human's heart pounded, and the young dragons whispered. The prophecy has started. Ancient secrets in the chase through the dunes. The human stepped out of the rover, holding the tired hatchling close. The desert wind pushed against him, carrying hot sand across his boots. The elders formed a circle, their giant bodies blocking every path of escape. Their eyes were fixed on the baby dragon, fear and anger mixing like fire and storm. The hatchling slept weakly in the man's arms, its glow now faint, but still there. The red elder lowered its massive head, speaking with deep, shaking power. "You carry something dangerous, human. Give the hatchling to us." The human didn't move. "No," he said simply. The elders growled, jaws tightening. "You do not understand," the red elder said. "A dragon with such power is born once in thousands of years. Its voice can wake ancient forces. Its bond can choose the fate of whole worlds." The human's voice stayed calm, but sharp. "Then why did you leave it to die?" The young dragons behind the elders shifted uncomfortably. The question hit the truth they never wanted to face. The silver elder finally spoke, a softer voice, but trembling. "We feared it." The human stared at them. "Feared a newborn?" "Yes," the silver elder said, "because the last albino dragon brought war to every clan. Its voice made armies move. Its glow changed the skies. We cannot control it. No one could." The red elder stepped forward. "This hatchling must not repeat that history." The human held the baby tighter. "You don't know what it will become." You don't even know what it needs. You just want it gone. The red elder snarled. You think you can protect it better? You are small, weak, alone. The human's eyes hardened. Maybe, but I didn't abandon it. For a moment, the desert fell silent. The elders looked at one another, uncertain. The young dragons whispered from the cliffs. Why does the human care so much? He fights stronger than we expected. Maybe the prophecy, but they were interrupted by a sound under the sand. A low, rumbling growl. Not the sand crawler. Something bigger. Something older. The human scanner beeped wildly. He checked the reading. Massive energy surge. Unknown life form. Closing fast. The red elder's face turned pale. No, it cannot be awake. The ground cracked. Sand flew upward like a tower of dust. A giant shadow rose under the dunes. The human stepped back. Even the elders stepped back. A giant creature, part stone, part bone, part ancient magic, lifted its head above the desert surface. Its eyes glowed the same color as the hatchling's light. The silver elder whispered. The guardian beast awakened by the albino's song. The human stared at the sleeping hatchling. She called it. Yes, the silver elder said. This beast protects her kind. It comes when the ancient bloodline awakens. The guardian beast roared, a deep, echoing sound that shook the cliffs. It wasn't angry. It was searching. It was following the signal. Its glowing eyes locked onto the human, or rather, onto the hatchling in his arms. The elders panicked. If the beast bonds with the child, it will obey only her voice. This is the beginning of the prophecy. We must stop it. The elders prepared to attack. The human's jaw tightened. Oh, no, you don't. He sprinted back into the rover and shut the door. The engine roared to life. The sand exploded behind the wheels as the vehicle shot forward. The guardian beast roared again and began to follow, its massive body moving like a mountain on legs. The dragons took flight, trying to cut him off from above. The chase began. Across the dunes. The rover sped across the desert, leaving long trails of dust. Inside, the hatchling stirred weakly. The human placed a hand on its back. Stay with me, little one. I need you to wake up just a bit. The scanner beeped again. Beast closing. Dragons closing. Danger critical. The human gritted his teeth. Behind him, the guardian beast charged at frightening speed. The ground broke with each step. Dust storms swirled at its feet. Its roar echoed across the entire desert moon. Dragons swooped from above, trying to tear off the rover's roof. The human pressed another button on his console. Time for something new. Panels slid open, and two larger drones launched into the sky. Thick, armored, glowing brighter than before. The drones fired bursts of blue energy, pushing the dragons back. But the guardian beast didn't stop. It leaped. The sand shook like an earthquake. The rover bounced high and threatened to flip. The human forced the steering wheel, controlling it just in time. The hatchling opened its eyes, just for a moment. Its glow flickered. Its voice hummed softly. The guardian beast froze mid-charge. It lowered its massive head. It wasn't attacking. It was bowing. The human stared. You're not chasing me, he realized. You're protecting her. The hatchling rested again, the glow fading. The elder saw the beast bowing and screamed in fury. It has chosen her. The ancient line is rising again. This cannot be allowed. They dived to strike, but the guardian beast swung its stone tail, sending a shockwave that knocked them from the sky. The human swallowed hard. This is getting out of control. He sped toward the distant mountains. There is only one place left to go, an old research outpost hidden deep inside the rocks. A place full of secrets. A place where he hoped to learn the truth. The hatchling curled gently in his arms, tiny but shining with destiny. Behind them, dragons and ancient monsters clashed, the desert shaking with every blow. And far above, something in the sky cracked open with light, as if the universe itself had begun to notice the little albino hatchling. The hidden outpost and the truth in the lie the rover shot across the desert like a streak of fire. Behind it, the guardian beast followed with heavy, thunder-like steps. Dragons circled high in the sky, struggling between fear and fury. Every few seconds, The Red Elder tried to dive, only to be pushed back by the beast's glowing eyes. Inside the rover, the human checked the scanners. His voice was tight with worry. "Almost there, just hold on." The hatchling lay weak on his lap, tiny chest rising and falling slowly. Its glow flickered, fading with every minute. The human felt its skin turn cold under his hand. He whispered, "Stay awake. You're strong. Don't give up now." But the little dragon did not answer. Not with words. Not with light. Only silence. The outpost appears. After many miles of empty desert, sharp mountains finally appeared. Tall, dark, and cut like knives against the sky. The rover shot toward a narrow canyon. A metal gate slowly rose from the ground as the human sent a coded signal. The elders saw the mountains and screamed. "No, the human cannot enter the old sector. He will uncover our past. Stop him." The Red Elder dove again, wings tearing the air. But the guardian beast slammed its massive body into the cliff, blocking the entrance. The Red Elder crashed into the beast's shoulder, sending rocks and dust flying. The canyon shook violently. The human drove inside, just as the gate slammed shut behind him. Silence wrapped around the narrow canyon. No dragons, no beast, no danger for the moment. The hatchling breathed weakly. The human rushed deeper into the canyon until the old research outpost appeared. Tall metal doors, dusty walls, lights flickering like dying stars. He carried the hatchling inside and placed it on a glowing medical platform. Machines scanned the small dragon. The room filled with soft blue light. The computer spoke in an old static voice. Subject identified. Albino class, ancient lineage. Energy levels unstable. Immediate care required. The human leaned over the baby dragon. "I'll save you. Just stay with me." The first shocking truth. As the machine worked, a hologram flickered on the wall, a recording from decades ago. The human froze when he saw the figure inside the projection. A scientist, human, holding another albino dragon, almost identical to the one he carried today. The scientist spoke with fear in his voice. "We discovered something impossible. Albino dragons are not cursed. They are keys, living keys. Their energy matches the ancient signals buried deep under dragon territory. If one bonds with a chosen being, the hidden vault awakens." The human whispered, "A vault? What vault?" The hologram continued. "The dragons fear them because they cannot control them. Only someone outside the clans, someone different, someone the hatchling chooses, can unlock the power." The human felt the truth strike hard. "The hatchling chose me." The medical platform beeped softly. The baby's glow returned, small but steady. The human touched its tiny head gently. "Why me?" he whispered. But the hatchling only curled closer to him. Outside the outpost, a war begins. Outside the canyon, the dragons attacked the guardian beast with full force. Fire blasted across the rocks. Wings tore through the air. Stone cracked under their claws. But the beast refused to move. It stood like a mountain guarding the human. The Red Elder roared, voice shaking the sky. "If the human reaches the vault, our world will change forever." The young dragons hesitated. "Is that so bad?" one whispered. "What if he is the one meant to help? What if the prophecy is not a warning, but a promise?" But the elders ignored them. Their fear was older than logic. The human opens the archive. Inside the outpost, the human unlocked the final chamber. Large metal doors slid open. Dust exploded into the air. Inside, he found ancient blue crystals stored in glass pods, each glowing faintly. The scanner read, "Ancient dragon memory crystals. History written by the first clans." The human placed his hand on the largest crystal. Light burst out. The room filled with floating images, dragons flying through the stars, great wars across galaxies, and finally, a gigantic albino dragon singing a powerful song that broke mountains. The vision shifted. The albino dragon protected humans long ago. They were allies, not enemies. The dragons and humans once fought side by side, but the clans twisted the story over time. Fear replaced truth. and every new albino hatchling was seen as a threat instead of a guide. The human whispered, "You were never cursed. You were meant to lead." The hatchling, still weak, lifted its head at those words. Its eyes glowed faintly, responding to the truth it had never heard. The elders break through. A deep impact shook the outpost. Dust fell from the ceiling. Then another impact. Then another. The human turned toward the front entrance. The metal gate glowed red, melting under dragon fire. "They found us," he whispered. He grabbed the hatchling and held it tight. The gate exploded open. The red elder stood in the doorway, smoke floating from its teeth. "You cannot run anymore, human," it growled. "That hatchling belongs to us." The human stepped back, but his voice was calm. "It belongs to no one. It chooses." The red elder smashed the floor with its tail, roaring, "You cannot protect it. You are only human." The hatchling suddenly opened its eyes fully. Its globe brightened. It stared at the elder, and the outpost lights flickered violently. The air rippled. The human held the hatchling close, realizing something terrifying. "She's waking again." The red elder took a step forward, and the hatchling released a soft, powerful hum. The crystals in the chamber glowed in response. The entire outpost trembled. Something ancient, something buried for thousands of years, began to unlock. The red elder's eyes widened with horror. "The vault! She is opening the vault." The human looked down at the glowing baby dragon. "You're not just special, you're the last key." And behind them, the floor cracked open, revealing a massive hidden door with ancient symbols that began to shine. The Vault of the Ancients was waking. The Vault of Ancients and the dragon who chose a human. The floor of the outpost cracked open, glowing with ancient light. Sand and dust lifted into the air as huge stone plates slid apart. A massive circular door appeared beneath the human's feet, covered in symbols older than any dragon clan. The hatchling's glow reflected on the symbols, making them shine like stars. The red elder stepped back in fear. No, this cannot happen again." The human held the hatchling tightly and moved back from the opening floor. "Tell me what this vault is," he demanded. "Now." The red elder's voice shook. "It is where the first dragons placed their greatest power. A power only an albino can open. A power that can change the world, for good or for destruction." The outpost trembled again. The symbols on the vault door brightened, reacting to the hatchling's tiny heartbeat. The young dragons outside the entrance watched with wide eyes. "She is opening it. She is the chosen one." And the human, she bonded with him. The red elder roared in panic. "If the vault opens, the prophecy becomes real. Humans and dragons will walk together again. Our control will end." The human stared at the elder. "You're afraid of losing power, not afraid of danger." The elder hissed angrily. "This is our world. We choose its fate." The human stepped in front of the baby dragon, speaking with quiet fire. "Not anymore. The vault opens." The hatchling lifted its tiny head. Its eyes glowed brighter than ever before. Pure white light, gentle but unstoppable. It let out a soft hum, like a song made of warm wind and starlight. The symbols on the vault door responded instantly. Click, boom, click, boom. Ancient locks twisted and shattered. The red elder screamed, "Stop her!" But it was already too late. The vault door slowly opened. Light poured out, blinding, strong, ancient. It was not fire, not magic, not a weapon. It was memory, the history of the world. Images formed in the glowing air, dragons and humans working together, building cities, flying across galaxies, protecting each other. Albino dragons standing beside humans, guiding them, healing them, lighting their paths. The young dragons watching froze in awe. We were friends. We protected each other. The elders hid this from us. The red elder roared. Stop watching. Ignore the lies. But the truth was impossible to hide now. The hatchling stepped forward on shaky legs. The human kneeled beside it, ready to shield it if needed. The tiny dragon spread its fragile wings toward the vault light. The voice of the ancient memory spoke softly through the chamber. Albino dragons are not cursed. They are bridges. They unite hearts that fear each other. The Red Elder's face twisted with rage. No, we will not lose our rule. We will not let a human control the future. It lunged forward. The human grabbed his pulse rod, ready to fight. But the hatchling moved first. The hatchling's true power. The little dragon stood between the human and the giant elder. Its wings glowed brighter than the sun. Its body filled with warm white fire. Not destructive, but protective. The air vibrated. The outpost walls cracked. The guardian beast outside roared in response. The hatchling opened its mouth and released the song of command, a power only ancient albino dragons once used. Not a scream, not a roar, a powerful note that made the air itself shake. The Red Elder froze mid-attack. Its wings locked. Its claws stiffened. Its fire died in its throat. The hatchling took one step forward. The song grew stronger. Dragons outside felt it too. They landed on the ground, kneeling without meaning to. Their bodies bowed, but their eyes widened in awe. The human watched, amazed. You're choosing your own path. The hatchling looked back at him with glowing eyes, as if saying, You protected me. Now I protect you. The elders fall. The Red Elder struggled, but its muscles refused to move. The Silver Elder, frightened, spoke. The song commands us. It chooses the new leader. The Red Elder screamed in rage. No human can rule us. The hatchling's glow grew even brighter. The song shifted, no longer just power, but judgment. The Red Elder was forced to bow, forced to kneel, forced to acknowledge the albino hatchling as a leader. The other elders knelt too, even against their will. Their wings touched the ground. Their heads lowered. The young dragons whispered in awe. She has chosen him. The human is her partner, her guardian, her bond. The bond is complete. The hatchling turned and climbed into the human's arms. Its glow faded to a warm, soft light. Its eyes closed gently. The human whispered, I'm here. I won't leave you. The vault answered with one last burst of light, rising into the sky like a beacon. Dragons all across the desert world saw the sign. They felt the new connection. A new age had begun. The Silver Elder finally spoke. Human, we were wrong. The hatchling has bonded with you. That cannot be broken. You are now part of the ancient prophecy. The human stood tall, holding the small dragon. What does that mean? The elder bowed its head. It means you are now the guardian of the future, and she's the one who will guide both our kinds. The Red Elder growled, not liking the truth, but unable to fight it. The guardian beast walked slowly into the canyon and bowed to the hatchling and the human. The young dragons followed, lowering their heads in respect. The human looked down at the baby dragon resting safely in his arms. Looks like we started something big, little one. The hatchling opened one eye and gave a tiny, tired chirp. The human smiled. Let's change the world together. And with that, the first human-dragon bond in thousands of years was born again. Not a fear, not a power, but choice.